Hello everyone, this is Greyshot17 with special guest Amy.
Hi guys.
So she's back because we're here to discuss 13 Reasons Why season 3. We've reviewed 1 and 2. Quick thoughts. 1 I thought was fantastic, and 2 very much less so. Amy, what was your thoughts on it?
I thought 1 was really good and 2 was meh.
Yeah, especially to be honest, the revelation about Hannah Baker. The more and more you learn about her, I thought it didn't help or benefit the story. It kind of diminished it, honestly. And it just felt like they were prolonging it in a annoying way. Now they have a 3rd season, and apparently there's also a 4th season. But it'll be the last season.
4th and final.
Yeah, thank God. But this 3rd season, I will say, is, even if it's slight, it is better than the 2nd season for at least some character. Do you like 2nd season more than the 3rd season, or do you like?
I think I definitely liked the 3rd season a lot more. The storylines were a lot more like drawn together. Everything was a little bit better flowing.
Yes.
And it was definitely more intriguing and captivating than the 2nd season.
Yeah. Now, while the 1st season dealt with the death of Hannah Baker and people trying to just deal with that, the 2nd season dealt with gun violence and a courtroom case involving Hannah Baker. The 3rd season involves even more topics, and also the 2nd season also dealt with a lot of sexual abuse and unfortunate traumatic effects of that. The 3rd season expands that as well. It also covers, like I said, a variety of topics, but the major hook is Bryce, who is gone missing and may have been murdered, and it's trying to figure out who may have committed the murder of Bryce, aka the rapist from the 1st season, and the guy, I believe he was convicted at the end of the season too. He walked on like very little jail time and mostly probation, if I recall correctly.
I believe so.
Yeah. So
it's been a while.
So Amy, if you want, would you like to go into detail about why Bryce is your favorite character?
Oh, now he's my favorite.
Yes. Or was it? I'm sorry. Was it your favorite or your favorite to hate? It's one of those.
Definitely my favorite to hate.
Okay.
Which I think in this season, without giving too much away, they kind of delved more into why Bryce was as much of a douchebag as Bryce was.
Yes.
He's complex, and I think that's what's really cool, and I think it's a line in one of the episodes, I can't remember which one, but I think Jessica says it, that things aren't as black and white, that, it's kind of gray in all areas. So I think that's kind of cool that they delved more into why Bryce's character was the way Bryce's character is. And I think they did that a lot for not only his character, but I think everybody else's. They kind of fleshed out the characters a little bit more. But Bryce...
they tried to make him sympathetic. However...
Yeah.
It worked to be like, oh, I have sympathy for you, but it made me change my opinion none whatsoever. I still did not like the guy. I still think he made a lot of dumb, stupid decisions. However, I will say the actors and actresses in this show are giving it everything they have. There's no one that's like, just like, we were talking actually about X-Men Dark Phoenix, who's like an actor in there where they're just kind of cruising through it, just hoping to get a paycheck. Here, you can tell that they're trying. They are absolutely trying. But that being said, the material they're given is just very melodramatic and very just... It can sometimes lead to very just boring scenes of like, okay, we know what's going on. Let's speed this up. Come on. Why are we hanging around this? Also, some of the things I did like, while the main plot involves Bryce and trying to pick out who had a motive to kill Bryce, the big thing I did like was some of the side stories I really actually did enjoy. Like Zach's side story with, I believe it was Ashley. Oh, Zach's side story with Ashley, I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed the oh god, what's his name? With Ice, the whole immigration debacle. Tony, thank you. Tony, I thought, had a really, really good arc, and I really did enjoy his character. Clay, I thought, did way better in this than he did in the second season. Not as good as the first, but still, I enjoyed him a lot more in this. But that being said, there's like side plots involving steroids, and there's side plots involving prostitution, and I'm just like, what does this have anything to do with the main story? Why are we even here?
Yeah, I agree. I think at one point it almost, at least to me, it sort of resembled Revenge of the Nerds, where like everybody hates the jocks. And I think that was like a huge plot in the story, was to break down the patriarchy and break down the jock culture.
Yeah.
And I think that had a lot to do with it too. And I think if they just would have stuck with the main, I mean, I get it, but
yeah,
like the main plot of, who killed Bryce, when like literally everybody in the school had a motive to kill Bryce.
Yeah.
So.
And justifiably, there's a lot of dumb, stupid, and horrible things Bryce has done to many others. And while he does try to make amends for quite a few of them, he doesn't make it work in a lot of circumstances. It really doesn't. And it's like Bryce somehow in the past. And by the way, my biggest gripe with this show is in the first episode, I was like whiplashed at trying to figure out, wait, what's going on? What are we doing? Because it literally jumps 8 months from the end of the last season, but then throws in all these new things and this past event. So you're just like, I have no idea what's going on. And the only reason why I'm sticking around is because I hope there's a payoff to this. And eventually some of it is. But some of the stuff, I'm like, this is unnecessarily being like held back from the viewer. And intentionally distracting for that first episode, maybe 2.
Yeah, and I think it kind of did that a lot throughout the entire season. There were a lot of like red herrings, which was kind of intriguing. It was like equal parts intriguing and equal parts annoying, because like they led you to think that so and so killed Bryce, but really they were leading you like the next, I don't know, 15 minutes. They were like, nope, just kidding. Now this person might have killed Bryce. So there were like a lot of red herrings, which was kind of cool, and it kept you on your toes.
Yeah.
Because it definitely wasn't at all predictable. But there were a lot of red herrings.
And was it Tyler's arc in this? Because he was victimized. Like his arc, I enjoyed this. Like him slowly getting more and more power to him. But my one gripe as well with this show is was it Jessica's group that is made to like help combat sexual violence and help promote sexual victims to like have a voice in the school. I felt like I had no idea what their goal was, because every time they tried to do one of their plans, and it just involved protesting or yelling at major events, and I'm like, I don't know how this is supposed to help. I really don't. I get you're a bunch of high school kids, so maybe you're not making the smartest moves, but this really struck a chord with me when they're protesting a funeral. I don't like Bryce, but the immediate thing I have for people protesting someone's funeral to try to get their point across is the Westboro Baptist Church. That's my immediate thing. And it's like, look, Bryce is a terrible human being, but that's the one place maybe you don't do a protest at.
And I think I remember Jess in particular had a problem with that, which I think was really cool, that they showed, that the leader and creator of this group didn't exactly like that plan, and she originally said like, we can't do this. And then they kind of took that over for her.
Yeah, I agree. I just wish that since she is the president, she does have more, like, she should have some power, and I would have liked a more power dynamic. But it was like, don't do this, and they're like, we're still gonna do this. They do it, and then she gets in trouble. It's like, okay, I really thought Jessica would have, like, one step ahead, like, again, especially because what you learn later in the season, she is capable of that, like, kind of Game of Thrones it, as you mentioned before this review, like, that whole thing, so she doesn't get the blame for it. That would have been me.
Khaleesi.
Yeah. Speaking of which, we will get the spoilers a little bit later, but overall, I do think also the production of this show is also top-notch. I do like the cinematography, the use of colors to show the past and the future. For the most part, really well done. Though it can definitely be a little jarring sometimes, but overall, I think the techniques they do is pretty good. So on a technical level, I can't be mad at this show. It's basically just the writing and the circumstance, and it feels like this show is being dragged. Oh, by the way, there's a new character. What do you think of her?
Ani?
Yeah, Ani.
I liked her. But I think that she kind of stepped in where Hannah was.
Yes.
And it made it really super convenient for her to tell the story like Hannah did through her tapes. But I really did enjoy Ani.
Yes. I enjoyed her as a character. I thought she definitely packed a few good punches where it needed to be, which is great. It's like, you feel like they're just going to bring her in to be like a substitute for Hannah. And to be fair, she's a new student who Clay immediately likes, and then has an issue with when Bryce gets in the mix, so that causes tension with Clay. But overall, I did enjoy their relationship. I did enjoy them. They're like investigation together, I should say. Although while I did like that, one negative I also will give with the show is I never bought why Clay would be the number one suspect. I never understood that. Like, because they do explain it later on, but if you're thinking about someone who's going to fight a football player, I just think back to season 1, especially when they show that it was literally like a fight that ended up killing Bryce. I never understood why Clay would be the suspect, because Clay got his butt whooped by Bryce in the first season. It wasn't even a contest. That was my stance on it. It's just like, okay, I really wish they would have thrown something else, like made it so that way anyone could. But I was just looking for the 3 people that could literally match Bryce physically. Really, there's only 3 people, though. We forgot to mention a certain character. The person who victimized Tyler, I forget the Montgomery de la Cruz, I believe.
Monty,
yes. What'd you think of Monty in this?
Honestly, I felt like horrifically, like, horrible for this kid.
Yeah.
He has a rough life.
Yeah.
But that really doesn't at all excuse what he did, but he's got a rough life.
Yeah.
How about you?
You can sympathize with him, and like I said, I kind of see why, but there's always a part of me being like, all right, I get why it's like you have this bent up frustration with your father, but you can't just take it out on other people, because he went crazy in the second season. Like, he went absolutely crazy, threatening people and doing all this manipulation behind the scenes. And even in the third season, they cut back on that slightly. But I'm just like, I'm just sitting here and just like, and this second season comes out of nowhere. I'm like, okay, why is this guy so crazy? And the third season, they do explain it a little bit, but they also cut back on his craziness. And I'm like, I really wish they would have kept that. Because in, like, the second season, he's, like, setting things on fire in front of people's houses and giving them weapons? I'm like, where's this kid in the third season? Where's this, like, maniacal sociopath? Also, I will say the ending felt a little too, like, cookie cutter. Like, oh, okay, everything's wrapped up. Even though it's, like, there are, like, 1 or 2 threads that are still hanging. We'll get to that in spoilers. But I felt like, for example, Monty's outcome, I felt was a little too, like, and this so happened. So that way there's nothing that can be said or done, if that kind of makes sense. They kind of just made sure to write out any possible issues, but they did so it just, instead of being like lightly cutting something, and they just got an axe and just chopped it off before it became like a hey, wait a second moment. Did you feel like they kind of so Amy, on your part, do you feel like they overstretched and maybe overreached for some plot lines in terms of like, does that really make sense?
Yeah, I really think that they did, especially with Monty's in particular.
Yeah.
It just seemed like it was way too convenient.
Yes.
To end it that way, and I don't really want to spoil it for anybody that didn't see it, but it just seems super convenient.
So overall, I will ask you, out of 0 out of 10, what is your rating on this season? And then I also want you to list your top 3 and top 3 characters that you enjoyed this season, and top 3 characters that you thought like really didn't add much to this.
So my top 3 characters that I like this season,
Yes.
Clay. I think he's always my favorite. I think he's like reigning champ in that one. Ani, definitely, because she called people out when they needed called out, which I think she called out Clay a couple of times. And probably Zach, because like last season we kind of saw Zach after the little fling with Hannah, and he was kind of in a different light, and now we see that he does indeed have a heart, which is kind of cool. And then the 3 characters, which I found it funny that they put her in. Oh, what is her name?
Was it Chloe? I think I called her Ashley.
Well, yeah, Chloe. I felt really bad for Chloe.
Yeah.
I did like Chloe, and I liked that arc, and I liked that it showed her and Bryce and that whole relationship and what had happened before and after and in between.
Yeah.
Was it Claire? Was her name Claire?
Who is this? Was she like
was the girl with Hannah in the very first season.
Oh, wait.
She was in the student council meetings.
Oh yeah, where'd she go? She just like pops up for like a moment.
She was there for like 5 minutes, and then that was the end of that.
She's like gearing up for season 3. Like, I can't wait. I was such a big part and fan favorite in season 1 too. Can't wait to see. That's it.
That's it.
I have 3 lines.
And I was actually really surprised to see Alex had, not that he didn't have a lot to do this season, but he didn't have a lot to do this season. He was just kind of there, if I do remember correctly. And yeah. I was really surprised to see like him on screen, and for some reason the first time I saw Alex,
her name's Courtney.
It didn't click in my head that it was Alex.
So actually, probably to equal out, I think I liked Ani, I liked Tony and Zach, with an honorable mention to Alex's dad. Alex's dad I really enjoyed, because he's slow. Like, you had this other officer who was like completely like, he's like, hey, it has to be Clay, go after Clay, and then he's just taken back and he's like looking at evidence like and he's just going through and he's just doing everything behind the scenes, and he solves the case almost before Ani comes in, and he's like, and as soon as Ani gives him the information, he's like, oh, okay, I see what you're doing now. Okay, thank you for giving me this legal way out of my situation. But I really enjoyed like him, just because he seemed just like the best dad, or like he's just trying to do what he could. But the worst characters, you're right. I wouldn't give Courtney it, because Courtney just, the writers are like, no one cares about
there
Courtney.
There it is. Her name's Courtney.
Yes.
I knew it was a C.
Yeah, something. Caddy? No, not that. What's her name? Well, they apparently the writers didn't care, so they just, got her out. But Monty, because the 3 would be Monty, because I feel like the actor was trying. The problem is the writers just cut back on his insanity from season 2, and I really wanted him to be the crazy one, but no, he threatens people, but he doesn't do anything all that much. He's just there being a dick, and I'm like, okay. And then the other two would probably have to be Chloe, because while she was there, and she had some good scenes, like, again, one of her favorite arcs is her going through the abortion. They just literally left her. She doesn't come up until the last episode, and it's like, really? Or the second to last episode. And it's like, wow, you couldn't have tied her back? Really? Okay. And Alex, I did not... Like, Alex just started plummeting for me. And his side story, I'm just like, you've got it. Really? This is our side story right now? So, yeah, that's my thoughts on the 3 worst. Overall, if I had to give a score for this season, but I would probably have to give this like a 6 out of 10. I wouldn't recommend it per se over, like, if you just start here. Honestly, if I'm being clear, I would probably say just watch the first season of 13 Reasons Why, and that's all we really need to watch. The other 2 seasons are kind of just if you want to, but be warned it could ruin the first season a little bit for you. But it's still better, and I think it's better than an average show. Like 5 would be average. I think the production-wise and the acting-wise, I think it's better than your normal teen drama. But that being said, I do think the writing in this and the storyline of it could have been tightened a lot better and more focused. What would you give it out of 10, Amy?
I would think a 6 or a 7.
Okay.
It's, you know what, the first one, I think this is one of those shows that they could have honestly stopped at 1 season.
Yes.
And it would have been fine. But I'm gonna watch the 4th season too and probably say the same thing. So
Yep. I will say I can't wait because rumor has it Hannah's going to come back as a zombie. And it's going to be Werewolf in London, where Clay is slowly turning into something, and then he just keeps being revisited by literally a zombie Hannah.
Huh. Wasn't that, what was that body, like, was it Warm Bodies? Was that
yeah.
movie?
Yeah, there we go. They just throw a zombie apocalypse in there. Or, something to liven things up. Even though it's a zombie movie, liven it up. But anyway, let's go now into spoilers. So this is an opportunity for us to talk about some of the bigger moments of the season and go into those topics that, again, not suitable for a non-spoiler chat. If you don't want to hear this, that's fine. That's your warning. Amy, who killed Bryce?
Well, really, it was Alex.
Yeah.
He pushed him over the railing.
I like how the 2 crippled guys are the ones who does it. Zach beats him to a bloody pulp, and he can't walk. It's like, okay. And then Alex and Jess show up, and Alex just throws him into the water and drowns him.
Yeah, that's sad. The entire last scene was rather sad because, you had watched Bryce go back and forth between kind of sort of maybe changing his ways and then kind of sort of being, well, Bryce.
Yeah.
And the end of it, you watched him completely just undo 12 episodes of character arc building and realize that, nope, just kidding. He was always Bryce.
Yeah, he knocks out
exactly
Zach's
how
leg.
You thought.
He literally pile drives Zach's leg and breaks it in half, almost breaks it in half. It's like, dude.
Yeah, that was highly unnecessary.
And then afterwards, he's like, hey, man, what's going on? And it's like, dude, I'm out with Zach. You absolutely deserve to get have your ass beaten from that. Like, this entire time while he's going through this arc, it's like he is going through some more events, so emotionally, he's wrecked. But no one beats him up until Zach does, which is why I love Zach. Zach is just the good guy who does the best things for the audience.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not wrong.
They arrest Clay, and for the murder of Bryce, because again, first off, they get text saying that he wanted to kill Bryce. Once again, I don't know why Clay would necessarily say that. Like, again, a lot of suspension of disbelief that you would figure, well, if I put this saying he's dead, want to kill him, it may not go over well. Or like you could have just said, hey, Bryce, you're a rapist, stay away from my girlfriend, or my best friend. Like, you could have said something along those lines, or, but again, that would have been too much information for the story to be revealed so quickly.
Did they ever actually say why? Because I don't know if it was one of the moments that I kind of zoned out because I was watching this. I was cleaning my house.
Yeah.
Did they ever actually say why Clay had sent that text to Bryce?
Oh, yeah, because he was mad because apparently Ani and him had some sort of relationship. And he ran out onto the field to fight Bryce and immediately gets knocked out. It's like, good job, man. Which is, again, a reason why I never, ever thought, especially when I was going on, that he could take Bryce in a fight. It's like, come on.
Yeah.
Which is why...
he's not exactly built.
Which is why immediately my mind was of 3 people. Monty, Zach, and Justin. Those are the only 3 that I can physically see fighting Bryce toe-to-toe. Not the 2 people that need canes to walk around. But no, that's the actual 2 guys who end up actually fighting him and somehow winning. Which
I think if you go back to, I think it was the first episode, you could kind of sort of see, like, they almost foreshadowed who killed Bryce. Because I think it's Zach, and it was either Alex or Justin were having a conversation on the field, and Zach almost looked at somebody and said Bryce is dead, but it was before he was confirmed dead, and he was just missing. So I thought that was kind of cool that they sort of foreshadowed that part.
Yeah, my also thing about it was it's just simply about that. I love this. Oh God, what and how do I put this in the nicest way possible? Like, again, if you go back and foreshadow, it's like, okay, some of this stuff makes more sense, but literally jumping into that first episode and you have Ani talking to the cops about this whole ordeal, and you're like, okay, this is going to go badly. You're expecting things to go downhill in some regard, but it's like that, her jumping from her talking to it and then what's going on 8 months ago and I guess present was just so confusing for me. I don't know why. I think it was just because of the fact we kept jumping to 3 different spots that weren't the present we left off on. But it was like, what is going on with this show?
How do you like that? Would you like me to skip back to 3 weeks later when you weren't dead?
And then people are like, I hate you because of this reason. I'm like, I don't even know why you're mad. Because the show did let's jump 8 months to skip over and hide the BS and all this drama. And it's like, okay, some of it's deserved, some of it's cool, but the other things I'm like, I don't care. I don't care you went to a prostitute. Although I will say the part that also got me laughing was Zach going in to tell the cops he killed Bryce. And then literally the cops are like, no, that's assault, and let him go. It's like, I'm sure Bryce's mom would like to have known that Zach beat his son to a bloody pulp and assisted, not directly, but indirectly in his death. So, there we go. As someone as a criminal justice major, I felt that hilarious that they were so vigilant at making sure Clay was arrested as he committed the crime. But they're like, oh, this guy committed assault. Let's let him go. It's like, good job.
It's fine.
We
can't tell how much damage was done by the rocks and how much damage was done by him. It's fine.
Yep. I think you can tell the difference between drowning and a guy being punched. Don't you see? He's a good guy. That good guy raped my best friend and then she killed herself. Such a great... Oh, and then also he raped a dozen or more high school kids in a back cabin behind the stadium.
It's fine. That's totally fine.
But he's nice. He has money.
You don't know the Bryce I know. What are you talking about?
Yeah, what are you talking about? It's like, did you, like, anyway. So, yeah. But yeah, it's like I said, even though there are major plot issues with the show, all the actors give it everything they have to deliver these performances, and a lot of the subplots do work. I think Tony having the ice plot line was really relevant, and I did really enjoy that, along with the abortion arc. But some of the others I just couldn't really care for. So, but in any case, but yeah, this is just slightly above average in terms of me for being a piece of TV. I still got plenty of other shows. Like I'm currently watching, Dark Crystal on Netflix. I have, just finished Attack on Titan, which is also fantastic. Going after this, going into Manhunter season 2. What are you currently watching, Amy?
I finished Mindhunter.
Okay.
I am apparently living in 2008, because I have just now discovered Breaking Bad.
Oh God.
So, yay.
You know what? I got through law school. That showed me through law school. But
it's good.
Watch it before the television movie comes on Netflix.
Yeah, exactly. That's my plan.
Yep.
I did check out Dark Crystal. I think I'm about halfway through the first episode.
Oh, okay, same thing.
So I'll pick that up.
Yep.
And I don't think that I have anything else currently in queue.
But it's like, I'll watch that, and then I'll watch Mindhunter, and then I'll watch another nice little comedy, and then I'll go back to something really dark. Kind of evens things out.
It's all about balance.
Exactly. Everything should be balanced, as all things should be. Thanks, Thanos. But, in any case, this has been Greyshot 117 and Amy, and we will see you guys on the next review, whenever that shall be.
Bye, guys!
Wait a second, before you guys go, I have a couple people I need to give a shout out to because they are so amazing, awesome, and just really supportive of my content. Those people include Milam, Ace, WhiteHotD, Josh, Folkvard, Javi, Jfoe, Joey, jrchicklis, Little Koosh, Mustaach, Onlyplayapples, Pyroshark, Streakingwookie, GTA, Jakub, Ocwieja, and Kevin Gao. Thank you guys so much for your incredible support. You guys are amazing. This has been Greyshot 17, and I'll see you guys next time.